dear viewers, and welcome to a new edition of our program, Africa Today. The long-awaited national dialogue kicked off on Wednesday with the several political forces, civil society groups, professional and labor unions and public figures participating to discuss key political, economic and social issues. In a recorded speech in the opening session, Egypt's President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi stressed his support for the national dialogue, vowing to provide all the means to ensure its success and activate its outcomes within a framework of democracy and effective political practice. More details in the following story.
Egypt launched its national dialogue on Wednesday, gathering several political parties, civil groups, syndicates, intellectuals, and public figures. The national dialogue will discuss key political, economic, and social issues. Diat Rashwan, general coordinator of the national dialogue, said that all sessions would be open to the media, but discussions around the constitution, foreign policy, and strategic national security issues would be off limits. It is a recorded speech. In the opening session, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi vowed to ensure its success and implement its outcomes within a framework of democracy and effective political practice. Former Foreign Minister Amr Moussa said that the national dialogue is an opportunity to discuss what concerns public opinion in Egypt, especially at this critical stage. He reflected on the questions of the Egyptian people regarding the country's direction. In reality, Egyptians are now anxious and have questions regarding the country's fate. Moussa stressed the need for honesty and clarity, as people need to be given an honest answer, no matter how shocking it may be, and should be prepared for a tough future. The national dialogue kicked off last Wednesday after a year of preparations. The inaugural session saw the participation of officials, political parties, NGOs, and opposition figures. During the session, President Sisi delivered a recorded speech where he stressed support to the national dialogue and pledged to pave the way for its success. Sisi stressed that his call for the dialogue has stemmed from a strong belief that he holds about the Egyptian nation having the capabilities and potential that provides it with many alternatives to find paths towards progress in all political, economic, and social fields. Sisi called for the dialogue in April last year in order for political forces and other representatives of the society to discuss and find solutions to the priorities, social, political, and economic issues.
To shed more light on the issue, we are very much delighted to be joined over the phone by Dr. Magdy Adly, Senior Manager in Hospital Management. Dr. Adly, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me this afternoon, and all my respect to you.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Doctor, what is, from your perspective, is the significance of the national dialogue that was kicked off last Wednesday?
Okay. First of all, I'd like to thank His Excellency Mr. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi for that invitation to convene that national dialogue or national community dialogue that was kicked a few days ago in presence of representatives from all spectrums of the people, educated people, and experts in all fields. University professors, university students, also a representative for youth, a representative for Egyptian women,
yes,
and even representative people with a special need. And of course, political forces and political parties had attended that great event. These, in order to find shared areas and solutions for based on honesty and clarity, clarified and honest solutions,
indeed,
and develop a comprehensive vision of our real crisis and problems, if it's a political, economical, or social problems. And drawing a future vision or a future plan for our Egyptian state in light of economic and political challenges facing the world, mainly developed countries, and of course, Egyptian state is a part of that world.
Indeed.
But indeed, we would like to mention or remind our dear audience and dear viewers that that great event of national dialogue has been prepared and planned since 1 year ago. Through our respective institutions and respective NGO, and through a field visit and make questions with the citizens in streets about the currently crisis, and then refined all of that to be discussed in these all different axes in a national, in that great event which is national dialogue.
Yes.
Yes,
Doctor.
Okay.
Yes. Doctor, the President in his speech before the first session of the National Dialogue, which was via video conference, called for the National Dialogue to bring together all the political forces without discrimination, and he also invited all the participating forces to express their opinion freely, and all would be admitted for the administration to discuss and to apply. So how do you see the most important points tackled by the President in his speech?
Of course, our political leadership is interesting for to see and for sharing of all victims of the people for that great event. To be participators in the solutions of our currently problems, and that national dialogue will discuss three main axes, which is the political axis and direct discussion of political rights and human rights, the economic hub or economic axis, and will this act will occupy the largest part of the national dialogue.
Yes.
Because of the economic, there is economic challenges that facing the state at the present time in light of challenges of global and regional condition in the region. And even the economic axis also will discuss the files of sustainable development of Egyptian industries and localization of some other industries and increasing its share in national income and GDP, and reaching to the large rate of contribution.
Indeed.
Also, the economic axis will also discuss the available mechanisms for developing the agricultural sector and how to benefit from experiments and capabilities in increasing the agriculture areas vertically and horizontally, by the way, as well as the development of mineral wealth, fisheries, and food or biological food security, biosecurity of food, and for Egyptian citizens, and providing meat and fodder. The third and the final axis, which will be discussed in that national dialogue, will be the social hub and that axis will discuss at the length the population issues and listening to the different opinions of experts in that field, and issue related to women, Egyptian women, and related to public services provided to Egyptian citizens,
Yes.
such as health, education, scientific researches, and culture. In general, everyone in that national dialogue will be optimistic, is optimistic about this dialogue and its outcomes, which of course will be agreed upon and present its results to His Excellency Mr. President.
Indeed. Dr. Magdy Adly, Senior Manager in the Hospital Management, thank you so much for your precious input. And moving on with our episode, where Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry delivered the message from President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to South Sudan President Salva Kiir. This came during the top diplomats meeting with Kiir on Tuesday in Juba as part of his tour to both Chad and South Sudan. More details in the following story.
Minister of Foreign Affairs Sameh Shoukry said that Egypt and South Sudan bear a special responsibility towards Sudan, stressing that the suffering of the brotherly Sudanese people must be alleviated. Shoukry's comments came during a press conference with South Sudan's Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Ding Dao Ding, in the South Sudan capital, Juba, on Tuesday. The two top diplomats talked to reporters after holding a meeting to discuss the ramifications of the ongoing conflict in Sudan on both countries and coordinate efforts to end it. Shoukry told reporters that Egypt and South Sudan are working to achieve stability in the region. For his part, Dao Ding said that the influx of Sudanese people fleeing violence in their country is putting pressure on its immediate neighbors. Dao Ding said that all international efforts to end the conflict need to be coordinated for the benefit of Sudanese people. The South Sudan top diplomat added that Shoukry's visit is very crucial to his country since the two countries have a shared focus on reaching peace in Sudan. Earlier in the day, Shoukry delivered a message in person from President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to South Sudan's President Salva Kiir. During the press conference, Shoukry noted that he listened to new ideas from President Kiir on ways to strengthen coordination to meet the challenges arising from the Sudanese situation. Shoukry explained that President Sisi stressed in his message to the president on the need to reach a permanent ceasefire in Sudan. Meanwhile, Dao Ding stressed during the press conference that any continuation of the war in Sudan will put pressure on the two countries. For his part, Shoukry noted that Egypt has received 70,000 Sudanese citizens through its southern borders since the start of the conflict in mid-April. He stressed that the current conflict requires that Sudan's immediate neighbors consult on a continuous basis to work towards ending the ongoing fighting and its impacts on them. The top Egyptian diplomat also highlighted the importance of taking the necessary actions to coordinate politically or economically for the best interest of both people of Egypt and South Sudan. Shoukry's visit to Juba comes a day after he delivered a letter in person to Chad's President Mohamed Idriss Déby as part of Egyptian shuttle diplomacy to coordinate regional efforts to end the conflict in Sudan.
At least 411 people are now known to have died in intense flooding and landslides that hit the DRC South Kivu province last week. The effort to rescue the inhabitants and recover bodies in Kalehi, where the flooding happened, are continuing.
The Nagwabaji Kasi, the governor of South Kivu province, said that nearly 400 villagers were killed in flooding and landslides brought by torrential rains in Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo. According to the latest official report, the bodies of the victims have been mostly found in Bushushu and Naikobi, two villages hard hit by flooding caused by heavy rains. On Sunday, the government spokesman Patrick Naya Mayaya said that a central government delegation arrived in Bukavu, the capital of the province, en route to support rescue operations on the ground. The DRC government also declared May 8th a day of national mourning to honor the victims of the disaster. Since last week, heavy rains have been reported in this part of the country, where landslides regularly claim the lives of residents during rainy periods. Over the past week, more than 780 households were left homeless following the floods that hit Uvira territory in South Kivu province, and more than 600 houses were destroyed, according to the authorities of the province.
Well, with that, our dear viewers, we come to the end of this edition of Africa Today. You were in the company of myself, Maesty Rabia. Till tomorrow with another crew. Goodbye, many thanks for watching.